Welcome to another special conversation. Today, I'm in conversation with Barun Sobti. Now, you must have seen him in the recent trending and an absolute fantastic series called Kohrra, which is currently streaming on Netflix. Barun, thank you so much for taking our time and joining us for these very special conversations. Firstly, congratulations on a stupendous, fantastic role. The entire cast has come together really well. You must have seen audience reactions coming in. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But just overall, how are you feeling?
Uh, um, uh, I want to say overwhelmed, but the thing is that we kind of anticipated a reaction, a strong reaction, but the volume and passion with which people are talking about the show, we didn't anticipate that. That's a little unprecedented, and that's a little overwhelming. It's actually, it's a bit much.
Now, why this is really gone down well with the audience is that it's not single-layered, it's multiple-layered.
Right.
There are multiple narratives that are playing together at the same time,
Right.
whether it's the underbelly as far as corruption is concerned, whether it's the underbelly as far as family dynamics are concerned, whether it's about patriarchy that plays up beautifully by the end of the series. There are multiple tracks that are playing parallelly. What is it that one thing as part of the script that really caught your eye that you felt that this should reach to the audience?
See, when you sit down reading a script, you don't have all the what you guys have now.
Sure.
You don't have the performers in your head. You don't have the cinematography in your head. You don't have the background score in your head. Well, you can only reflect upon thinking this can be done in this fashion because this makes a world of difference. When you read it, and for me, what the criteria is simple. I didn't even judge the intellect for that matter when I read it the first time. The first time I read it in one go.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about your storyline, the character that you played. Fortunately or unfortunately, most of the times when we've seen storylines that have been set up in Punjab, they usually speak about the underbelly of some sort of crime, corruption, especially as far as the authorities on the ground is concerned. How difficult was it to get into the skin of the character? Because the bond that you have with other cops, the role that you are looking into, the investigation, it wasn't easy, right? There were certain scenes that were very dramatic, that were very aggressive, that also felt very real at that time. What is the kind of prep that went into a character like this?
See, we did the extensive workshops, but I think that was not the deal maker. I think the problem is that people have not seen the Punjab the way Gunjit has, the writer of the show. He done a lot of research on the he also he's in the middle of making a documentary
Okay.
on character in Punjab and stuff like that.
I want to understand how was the experience working with the entire cast, because the one thing that seems to have gone down well with the audience as well as the critics is that the casting is 10 on 10, and it has
It is
come
absolutely.
together. It has come together because all of you, as you rightly pointed out, have let the other person shine when that needed and you stepped back. How was the experience of just working with such a great cast?
It was remarkable. The great thing was that we were all not pushing up against each other,
Mhm.
which draws to a stalemate. In fact, we were pushing together towards a purpose, an objective, and that's why I think the show's performances have gone so far. One might think that if someone's really educated would understand the script better. I don't think so. This is a creative piece of work, and everybody on the cast really understood where the show had to be taken, what the nuances and the scenes were. Of course, Randeep was the leading force of the whole thing, but the one thing is for sure that everyone was on the same page. That hardly happens. So I think that's why the show is doing the way it is.
Karan, I want to talk to you about possibly five scenes that you thought completely changed the game as far as the script is concerned. Because as I pointed out, it almost felt like there were five different parallel stories that were going on. Would you want to talk to you about certain scenes that really stood out for you?
Now you're seeing when I read them or when I saw them.
When you read them and when you saw them, possibly
No,
both.
see
Has it changed?
it's changed a lot, a
Hmm,
lot. I mean, a lot. I mean, and that's the magic of cinema, right? I mean,
sure.
that otherwise, there are lesser bookworms, I think, and more cinephiles in this world. And the reason for that is that the there's so much more that cinema can bring to an eye.
Hmm.
So I'll tell you the ones that I like the best now.
Hmm.
I think the first one would be I think it's everyone's favorite when Balbir Singh is dancing at this guy's engagement.
Hmm.
Uh,
With the
that really hits
grandchild.
everyone. No, no, when he's dancing alone, in the slow
Acha.
motion thing when the song happens.
Okay. Hmm.
One is that one, and the second I thought was really important. I like it. I'm going to put it like that.
Sure.
Is the whole sh because it brings so much color out of the state of Punjab. Whole Shindawala track, the whole
Hmm.
transportation, wife being left alone, kids'
Yeah.
fees not being filled out, this guy, exploring his sexuality, and
Hmm.
eventually, falling prey to being a murderer by mistake, and then just, how colorful that was. Third, the whole sequence when this guy Garundi, tries to find out where this guy is, Balbir Singh, when he's
Hmm.
kidnapped and goes
Yeah.
to save him. That whole sequence, I think, was really, really well choreographed.
Yeah.
And the subtext of the whole thing was much about how much he loves and respects him. Look at
Yeah.
this thing that, he's like, no two ways thinking, no thinking about it. These guys are not coming, I'm going in alone. He has no idea what's
No,
inside.
I agree with that point, and I apologize for interrupting. That relationship that you had with Balbir, even in that one scene where you are having a drink at the end of the day, and
Right.
he tells you a case can either make you or break you, otherwise to मेरे sub inspector रह जाएगा. So even when there is
Correct.
a lot that's happening in his
Mm.
own life, he wants to ensure the best that's happening for you. And what is also interesting, it's never seen as a senior junior ka relationship. It's almost seen as friends. I think that
Right.
was very crucial.
Yeah, it's like he calls him Paji the whole time, so it's like a younger brother, so older brother kind of a deal that's happened. But at the same time, it was done so well. Like Balbir Singh's character was never meant to be preachy, and
Hmm.
when he does give out just two bits, it was so simple, and it was obviously the genius of Vicky Surinder sir as well. And that was going to be my fourth scene actually.
Hmm.
And that is the fourth scene because it talks about the complexity of life when he says that when I die, people are just going to be like, कि जिंदगी में क्या किया है इसने? Right?
The other very interesting storyline, Barun, was of course of Nimrat, who really shone because, as I said, it really intertwined well as far as this entire theme of patriarchy is concerned. How
Right.
she tells Balbir that you ruined my mother's life, now you're ruining my life, and how in the end he realizes that, but it's possibly too late, but he still wants to do some sort of damage control. When you were
Right.
researching as part of script reading or preparing for the role, did you speak to a lot of families, and was this a theme that resonated with you?
Uh, yeah, we were told a lot. We didn't speak to a lot of people. Like I spoke to people who were partly the reason why Garundi was written the way he was.
Hmm.
So I spoke to a few of these people. I'm sure, and I
Yeah.
think with that respect, I think that scene that I was talking about, the fifth one, and or either it'll be either that or Harleen's scene where she gets a phone call on the rooftop and she has to pretend on the video call that she's all okay and stuff like
Yeah,
that. I
and she
think
changes her
Harleen was,
clothes and she checks her
and I
hair.
think yeah,
Yeah.
Harleen was brilliant in that scene and was written very, very well. That had too had a lot of subtext.
So, Barun, of course, as you said when we started, that you're still overwhelmed. You expected great response, but not the kind of love that you've had.
Yeah.
Does that now does that now put a lot of pressure for whatever you do next? Do you feel
See,
the expectation level is already gone up now?
there's see, the problem with image making is that the person whose image people are making is not affecting that. It's the perception of the people of that
Hmm.
person that's making the image. And I've never worried about that. It's gonna kill me at work if I start worrying about that.
True.
I have had success in different measures, and this is definitely extraordinary. But I will never forget that my day's job is the most important thing. I will forget about everything and do my job well when I have to try to do it well.
So tell me, Vaku, what's next for you? Where can we see you next? What's in the
Well,
pipeline?
I have two shows that are finished completely. One is called Bawandar. It's a coming of age comedy, if you want to call it, about the current India. It is pretty intense. It's very intense bits. And then there's a period drama called Donali, and they both should be coming out this year.
Okay. So Varun, tell me, like now that you've had great success, you have some more exciting work, but what do you like to do in your free time? What is it that you do to de-stress? We watch Netflix to de-stress. What do you do to de-stress?
I think Netflix is everyone's go-to platform, right? But I watch a lot of documentaries. I don't get a lot of opportunity these days because there's
Sure.
way too much happening in our household. We have two kids, and then there's way too much work for Kohrra happening as well. The last thing I watched was Succession, and well, a little before that, Gulmohar, and loved both of them.